This is your guide to simplifying ratios. In order to simplify a ratio, what we're trying to do is make the numbers in that ratio as small as possible. In order to do that, we need to find something that we can divide both of them by. Looking at 12 and 16, the first number that I can see that both divide by is 2. So if I divide 12 by 2, we get 6. 16 divided by 2 is 8. It's always worthwhile checking to see if we can make it any smaller. Both of these again are divisible by 2. So this would give us 3 to 4. The only number that I can divide both of these by is 1, as anything else would leave us with a decimal, and we don't like to have decimals in simplified ratios. For this one, we've got 3 parts here, so we'd need to find a number that we can divide all 3 by. The only number that we can choose that would make this any smaller is 5. 35 divided by 5 is 7, 20 divided by 5 is 4, and 15 divided by 5 is 3. I can't divide these 3 by a single number other than 1, so we leave it like that. For 21 to 15, we can divide both of these by 3. 21 divided by 3 is 7, and 15 divided by 3 is 5. For this one, we're starting with quite large numbers, so we might need to do a couple of steps for this one. Because both end in 0, the first thing I'd notice is I can divide both by 10. 120 divided by 10 is 12. 150 divided by 10 is 15. Both of these now will divide by 3, giving us 4 to 5 as our fully simplified ratio. In these examples, we're starting with something that I mentioned earlier that we don't like, decimals. Easiest way to change this from being a decimal and therefore change it into a whole number is to actually multiply it by 10. So we're making the ratio a little bit, or numbers in the ratio a little bit bigger to start off with. So 0.8 times 10 is 8. We've now got a whole number, therefore we're happy. But we'd have to do the same to the 4 because we have to do the same to both. We've got to keep the proportions the same. 8 to 40 though, I can now simplify this. Both of these can be divided by 8. Therefore 8 divided by 8 is 1. And 40 divided by 8 is 5. Much the same, 3 to 0.25. Now there's multiple ways you can always do different ratios. For this one actually, the first thing I'd notice is that actually if I times 0.25 by 4, that would give us 1. So if I do the same to 3, 3 times 4 is 12. There's now nothing I can divide both of these by without going back into decimals. For this example, we've now got a fraction. Now the easiest way of changing a fraction into a whole number is to actually multiply it by its denominator. If you multiply a fraction by its denominator, you are left simply with the numerator. So 2/3 times 3 is 2. We've got to do the same to the other number. 8 times 3 is 24. We do need to check if we can simplify this. We can. Both of these will divide by 2, therefore giving us a simplified version of 1 to 12. And finally, again, a fraction. In order to stop that being a fraction and change it into a whole number, easiest way is to multiply by the denominator. So if we times both of these by 4, we would get 1 and 20 on this side, leaving us the ratio 20 to 1.